Before we get into the episode, the program, we got to use the fair use. What's good, y'all? Just Nova Real for the Nova Real Show. And this episode of Out of Pocket is about a landlord making his tenant sign a sex contract in order to rent a property in Las Vegas. This was covered by 13 Action News. Fair Use Act. It's fair use.
For sex in order to rent a home is part of an ongoing federal trial now. 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears has the bizarre story of a property manager who required his tenant to sign a sex contract and is now facing allegations of discrimination, harassment.
Out of pocket.
Darcy, what is this all about?
Well, you guys, it's actually hard to fathom that someone would put something like this in writing. We've had to cover some of the words because we can't show them on TV, but here it is in black and white. It's so crazy, I didn't believe it until I saw it in the court record. This is Alan Rothstein, the man who wrote the sex contract. Court records show he forced a prospective tenant to sign it in November 2018 in order to rent this 4-bedroom home on Wedgebrook Street near Las Vegas Boulevard and St. Rose Parkway.
Out of pocket.
At the time, Rothstein was the property manager and also a real estate broker. He lost both licenses after a Nevada Real Estate Division investigation. He now stands to lose a lot more if a federal judge finds him guilty. He's currently on trial for violations of the Fair Housing Act in this lawsuit filed by his former tenant. And the facts are unlike anything this experienced housing lawyer has ever seen.
My reaction was, you had to be putting me on, that nobody in their right mind would go to the trouble to draw up a contract like this.
No one involved would talk to us as the trial is ongoing. We asked legal expert Bruce Flamme to analyze the case. Have you ever seen anything like this?
No, not even on bar exams in law school. Nobody has ever put something like this together that I've ever seen. Although,
Now, I know y'all saying this. Why would she sign that contract? They're going to explain later that she was desperate and the lady was damn near homeless and she had to sign it in order to get the apartment.
Himself admitted to the real estate division that he wrote the sex contract and required the tenant to sign it. And in court records, he says any agreements or documents mentioned speak for themselves.
When somebody says the document speaks for itself, what they're really saying is, I don't want to talk about it.
We're talking about it to the extent that we can. We'll begin with the title.
It's direct consent for sexual intercourse and or which is in italics.
Out of
Who
pocket.
names a document that?
It goes on to say, please read this legal contract carefully.
And that's where I started laughing, because this is a legal contract the way the actors on Grey's Anatomy are real doctors, okay? This is literally not worth the paper it's printed on.
The terms of the so-called contract are even crazier than the title. The tenant had to swear she wasn't signing under the influence of any intoxicant, including alcohol, drugs, oysters,
Truffles, sea cucumber, strawberries, lobster. I've never known anybody to be under the influence of lobster. Dark chocolate.
He did put everything in the contract. I tell you that, though.
I don't know where.
No way this contract is
Another
legal.
paragraph says the tenant swears she does not currently have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or parent who is larger, meaner, and more physically aggressive, owns firearms, and or is more possessive than Rothstein.
She was told if she didn't sign this, she was not going to be able to get the unit. So, for all intents and purposes, it's
Crazy.
Sex for a place to live. It's exactly what it is. And it's almost sex on demand.
What do we make of the fact that she initialed this thing?
Nothing. People sign things all the time, and the popular myth is, well, you signed it, so it's binding. No. There are a variety of things
Out
you can
of
sign
pocket.
that are not binding. Any contract that is against the law.
Shouts out to 13 Action News for this piece, y'all. Shouts out to them.
So why would anyone sign anything like this? Court documents say in August 2018, the tenant and her 5 children were homeless, living from week to week in a residential
Took advantage of this poor
Southern
woman.
Nevada Regional Housing Authority threw them a lifeline, approving them for Section 8, a federal program that funds local public housing authorities to help low-income families
Out
rent
of pocket.
private landlords.
But one of the provisions of Section 8 is that once you're approved, you have to find a residence that will be covered by the program within about 60 days of when you're approved. Now, depending on where she was in that 60-day window when this thing came up, she may not have had other options.
Court records say she'd been allowed to move in and paid out of pocket to fix up the house so HUD would approve it.
So when you slap this document down in front of her and say, sign this or you have no place to live, that's coercion, that's duress, and I believe it's a violation of federal law.
The tenant's lawsuit alleges several other violations,
Out of pocket.
including charging illegal fees and wrongful eviction.
And he had the nerve to try to evict her on top of that, because she wouldn't have sex with
Rothstein
him.
disputes
Out of
any
pocket.
fair housing violations. Attorney Falami says no matter the outcome of the civil trial, accountability shouldn't stop there.
There may or may not have been crimes committed here. The word extortion.
Go to
flashes in my
13
mind
Action
in
News,
this kind of
hear the full
situation.
story.
But that's not what this trial is about that's going on in federal court right now. But this is a good example of a case where maybe somebody ought to go to jail.
When the real estate division revoked Rothstein's licenses, state investigators found he listed a fake address for his brokerage. The state also found he repeatedly made unwanted sexual advances when he had the tenant come to his home to sign documents. He was fined $94,000 in that, and we will update this story with the outcome of the federal case.
Well, there y'all have it, folks. There y'all have it. Out of pocket. Out of pocket. Man, he's lucky that he don't get time in jail for this. That is crazy. I hope homegirl do get paid from this, because that's out of pocket. Damn near almost the R word. She was forced to do what she had to do for her kids to get the apartment, but I'm glad that she didn't have sex with the man. But she did sign it, but she didn't have sex with the man. Man, that's crazy. Anyway, leave some in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about the situation. Y'all think he deserved prison time too, or just a fine? And they said he tried his junk before on somebody. Unreal. Anyway, subscribe, like, leave some in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about the situation. Share, like, all that good stuff. And remember, you can always support the channel too by hitting the Cash App, $ Nova Real Show, $ Nova Real Show, $ Nova Real Show. Anyway, enjoy your day. I'm out. This has been an episode of Out of Pocket.